This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome to Seek Reality with your host, Roberta Grimes. Author and attorney Roberta Grimes will explore and illustrate how she, after an extraordinary experience of light in childhood, has discovered channels of communication to the afterlife and how these implications have an effect on our everyday lives. Please welcome the host of Seek Reality, Roberta Grimes.
Welcome to Seek Reality. I'm Roberta Grimes, and I'm very glad you're with us today. Those of us who have been working in the field of afterlife research for decades have been frustrated by the intransigence of scientists. 100 years ago, the scientific gatekeepers, the university departments, the peer-reviewed journals, adopted, believe it or not, materialism as what they actually called then the fundamental scientific dogma, and they actually enforce it today. Even today, when physicists have long since demonstrated that actually nothing at all is material, mainstream scientists still refuse to objectively consider all the evidence that researchers have assembled about what actually is going on. We have by now demonstrated it in a number of ways and irrefutably that human minds are eternal, that we can exist easily without our bodies, and that most of what exists actually exists right where we are, but simply at a higher rate of vibration. But still, mainstream scientists will look at the evidence only to the extent that they think they can refute it. Isn't that foolish? We've come to believe that the only way to break through this scientific wall of resolute cluelessness is to go around the scientific community and find ways for those that we used to think were dead to speak right to the people. Once everyone has a cell phone app that will let them talk to newly dead loved ones or check in with their children who've gone ahead of them or their grandparents, whatever they like, or even get great-great-great-great-grandma's secret recipe, whatever they want to do to talk to the dead. When people can do that, the scientific community is going to be shown to be lying and shamed into finally investigating the truth. My wonderful friend and frequent guest, Dr. R. Craig Hogan, is one of the world's leaders in the field of cutting-edge methods of communicating with the dead. He lives this stuff, and he's with us today to tell us what's new. Welcome, Craig. I am thrilled that you're here. I love having you as a guest.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here too, Roberta. And you're right, there are marvelous things happening, and we really need to let people know about it because it's a different world, and most people don't even realize that.
Now, most people, I think, who are listening know about you, and anyone who doesn't, there are other wonderful interviews with Craig that are in our 4-year archive. So we don't really need to talk much about you, except about your past, except to say that I consider you to be the foremost researcher because this is your life. You live this stuff, and you literally live it because you've devoted a good part of your life now to doing this research that needs to be done with communication. So let's just say quickly what the 3 kinds of communication are that you're concentrating on, and then we're going to spend a lot more time talking about what's new in these fields.
Mm-hmm. Well, right now we have 16 methods of afterlife communication. We can virtually connect anyone with their loved ones on the other side. Some of the methods are 98% successful. And so then the 3 areas that we're really focusing on right now are instrumental transcommunication. In other words, using electronic devices, and that includes television, telephones, recording devices such as PCs, and so forth. We're working also on physical mediumship, which means that people sit in a room together, and from their energy and their vibration and their love for each other, combined with the love of those on the spirit side, they make things happen in the room. And so you can demonstrate things happening in the room. And most exciting, then people can actually appear. They can actually manifest themselves in the room. And the other methods that we're still working with mental mediumship, and we're trying to help people to learn mental mediumship. And we're also working with psychotherapy, because psychotherapists now are helping their clients while they're sitting in their offices have afterlife communication experiences. And that's really exciting.
Well, you also have done something which I hear about fairly often on Afterlife forums, which is when I'm a moderator there. Your induced method of self-induced communication works very well for some people, and this is something you give away for free.
Yeah, and we have around an 86% success rate, and for those who go through the training, and those who are not successful just didn't go through the training, and so they didn't finish it. But if they go through the training, then they will connect with their loved ones. And when I say connect, they're going to be sitting in their living room or sitting in their dining room, and they'll have earphones on, and they will be listening to the narration that takes them into a state of mind in which they can have their own afterlife communication, and they have marvelous communication. So that's free. It's on the internet. We don't want to charge for it. We want people to have their own afterlife communications, and we're doing everything we can to do that. And if all they have to do is get on the internet and access it and go through the training program. It's a training program, and once they've gone through the training program,
what's the website?
It is self-guided, all one word, period, spiritual understanding, all one word, .org, O-R-G, because it's a nonprofit. So it's selfguided.spiritualunderstanding.org.
Wow.
And then they can get to that.
Well, we're going to take a really quick break now. And when we come back, we're going to talk about a lot of this stuff and what's new in it. So stick with us. This is going to be exciting. I can't wait to hear more.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
What is truth? Historically, we viewed things as either being true or false. Now, as we enter a more expansive era, we find the question is not, is it true, but rather, how true is it? I'm Gwilda Wiyaka, host of The Science of Magic Radio, a syndicated, internationally broadcast radio program dedicated to uncovering this ever-expanding truth. Join me daily on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net, as I interview today's leading experts from the fields of science and magic to uncover the hidden truth between the lines drawn in the sand. What we unearth in our discussions is not only amazing, but totally unprecedented. You won't want to miss a single episode. In service to our listeners, past episodes can always be found on our website with our compliments at thescienceofmagic.net.
Little children aren't the only ones afraid of the dark. Millions of soldiers return from war zones with PTSD, anger, frustration, fear, and loneliness, much of which surfaces during the darkness of the night. You have the chance to change the lives of these American heroes. Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us provides free MP3 players for these men and women. With a list of 3 million songs in 16 different styles, 100,000 audiobooks, and 30,000 old-time radio programs, every veteran can find something to soothe and comfort them at no cost. All our players contain an 8-hour audio program designed to help veterans fall asleep. With 1,500 plus vets now participating, it's our goal to deliver 10,000 audio players this year. Go to our website at songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. Help us help a veteran make it through the night.
Welcome back to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes and my dear, wonderful friend, Dr. R. Craig Hogan. Craig is talking to us today about what's happening on the very cutting edge of afterlife communication. I think it is safe to say now that if you want to do it and you have a loved one that you feel close to who's no longer in a body, you can find a way to communicate. There are so many methods, and Craig is on top of all of them. So let's first I want to just say briefly something and hear Craig's insights on it. Beings not in bodies are the real leaders in this work. I believed for my whole life, and I think it was true, that we weren't supposed to know this stuff. We weren't supposed to be able to be sure that we survive our deaths because we're here to learn things. And will we pay attention to our lessons if we know this is just all a game and we're going home to our real lives? But in fact, what we've discovered is that in recent years, there's been a tremendous effort on the part of dead people we used to think were dead, to teach us how to communicate. So, Craig, what are your thoughts on why this is happening?
Well, there are teams on the other side, and various teams that are working with different methods of communication, and they're all trying in concert to improve the communications between us and the other realms. And the reason this is happening now is because they see that the Earth realm needs this help, that we need it much more than we ever did before. And also, in terms of the instrumental transcommunication using electronic devices, we've never had these opportunities before. We've never had electronic devices. And so now that we have electronic devices, the technicians who have passed on to the other side are coming together to try to improve the communications from their side based upon their expertise. And so we have names like Einstein, Tesla, Edison, and even Steve Jobs who are working on the other side. And it sounds like we're name dropping, but you would expect that the people who were the most technologically astute on this side would continue their work on the other side, and that's in fact what happens.
Isn't
so at this time in history, at this time in history, they're breaking open things, and the more things they break open, the more the teams on the other side take advantage of it and give us more. So they're anxious to give us more. All we have to do is be open to receiving it.
This is, to me, wonderful evidence of the fact that we are all so supremely loved. I mean, things seem to be falling apart on this planet, but in fact, what these beings are doing is working to raise our spiritual vibration. And one of the ways they're doing it is by demonstrating to us over and over in as many ways as they can that they've survived, and so will we. This is such a wonderful time to be alive. So let's talk a little more then about the three that I had in mind, of course, were your induced afterlife communications, which is, I hear about all the time on afterlife forums, and people love it. But also electronic communication and physical mediums, because one being cutting edge new and one being very old, but really kind of forgotten and now being revived by people like you. So I'd just like to have you talk a little bit about both the physical medium circles that you do and about electronic communication.
Sure. The physical mediumship, as you said, it started in 1848, and it started in the United States, in this New York state, and then was exported to England, became very popular there, and people were having these experiences, and then it came back to the United States. And physical mediumship means that people will sit in a room together, and it's a group of people. Usually it's going to be anywhere from 4 or 5 to up to 10 or 12. And the people sit in the room and they raise their vibration. They raise their love for one another and their feelings of gratitude to the teams on the other side. And as they raise their vibration, they sing songs and they joke and laugh and have a good time. And it's just a wonderful time together. And while they're sitting in this circle, then the people on the other side, these teams, and they say there are thousands of them, thousands of people on the teams, but there are some primary people who are up front. And the teams on the other side use their energy, and they take the energy from the sitters, the people who are in the circle, and then especially from an individual or more than one individual who are called physical mediums. And they have special abilities. And they take the energy from all of these, and they make things happen in the room. And the things can be like raps and taps, and the tables levitating, the things fly around the room. There will be voices coming out of nowhere. There will even be materializations. People actually appear and come around and talk to the people in the room and touch them. And so all of these things happen in physical mediumship. And that kind of faded away in the 20th century. It was very active in the 19th century. It kind of faded away in the 20th century. But now it's coming back. And interestingly, it's coming back in whole new ways. So they have discovered new ways of doing physical mediumship that are going to take us in entirely new dimensions. And they've said that they are going to take us into places that we cannot imagine.
Wow. So when you say they, of course, you mean the real experts who are the people that we used to think were dead. They're working with you. Now, how long has your circle been going on? Because you have your own circle.
Yeah, it's been our circle. Now, this is the AREI circle. It meets in Illinois. It has been going on for 9 years. The first 7 years, you have to, for the physical development, we're not entirely sure why, but it takes a long time for the physical circle to come to fruition. And so it can be a couple of years, but it can be up to 7 or 8 or 10 years. And what happens is that those on the other side, the teams on the other side, are assessing things and developing their interactions with us. They're changing us. They're making things happen in us in preparation for this. So for 7 years, we sat and we had occasional lights and occasional taps and not very much was going on. We just had a good time. It was just a wonderful group of loving people who sat every Sunday evening. And then about 2 years ago, we settled into a group of 5 people. And these 5 people were the magical people who were brought to this by the team on the other side. And the 5 of us had almost immediately, as soon as we were assembled as the team, things started happening. We started getting raps and taps, and the table rocks back and forth in response to questions that we ask, and we hear things in the room. We have people come through, visitors come through, and we call the portal, which is in the back of the room, and they will come through and they will speak mentally to our mental medium and to the others who are in the room, and they will make things happen. So it took 7 years for it to start. Now it's been 2 years into it, and what's happening right now and what we're being told is just phenomenal.
Well, I'm speechless. Because just to give people a sense of this, you have someone. Rob is developing as a physical medium, right? And he's in the cabinet, and then you have a circle of yourself and 3 others who you all meet on a Sunday evening, and you sort of sing and do everything you can to raise your vibration, and then the dead start doing things in the room.
Yeah, and there's no telling what they're going to do. And they send us marvelous mental images through the mediums to tell us what they're doing, and they give us insights into what they're doing. But they have been very, very encouraging to us. And what they say, This is a whole new form of mediumship. I said it started in 1848. It started in the United States. That was a form of physical mediumship in which the physical medium had a substance called ectoplasm that would come out of the physical medium's body, and that would do things in the room. The room is dark when this is all happening. People are holding hands, though, so you know where everybody is. And in the dark, then the ectoplasm would form rods and would grab onto things in the room and move them around, lift entire tables. It's very strong. And voices would come out of it. It would form voice boxes, and the voices would come out of it. Or the ectoplasm would form around the astral body of an individual, and the person would manifest. And I sat in a seance with the ectoplasm in which I had the discarnate, the person coming from the other side, put his hand over top of my head. And that was with David Thompson from Australia, put his hand over top of my head, and it's his huge hand. The discarnate's name is William, and he put his hand over top of my head, and I could feel his bones on my head and feel the warmth of his fingers, and then another one who Quentin Crisp in the same seance came across. And he also did the same thing to show the difference. And his hand was small, and I could feel it on the top of my head. So the discarnate can make these things happen. They can manifest themselves in the room. And this all happened primarily in the 19th century and into the 20th century. But now what they've said is that they are changing us, the five of us, at the molecular level. They're changing our DNA. And that they, in the past, have come down to the circles and have done things in the circles. But in the future, they're going to take us to them. And we don't know what that means.
Oh, my goodness.
But it's very, very exciting, yeah. And so it's a whole new form of physical mediumship that's just beginning, and we're seeing it in other circles, too. There's one, August Goforth, has a circle out in New York, and Neil also has a circle in New York, and Jan Vandersand has a circle in California. And we're finding that these young circles, physical circles, are all getting the same message, that they're doing things that are unusual. They're going to be changing us molecularly, and that they will make things happen, and we will be engaged in it, and they're preparing our bodies for the engagement.
What an unbelievable story. That is just incredible. And it's so exciting because, when this really happens and it gets documented, and it's wonderful that they're doing it with a number of circles, not just one, because there'll just be no way people can refute that this is going on. In fact, it's going on. When he said they're taking you to them, are they going to take you into the afterlife levels, do you think?
We really don't know. We really don't know. And what they said this past Sunday, they said, one of the things they said was what was going to happen to us is colossal. That's the word they used, colossal. And then one of the mediums who gets the mental images from them, from the team on the other side, said that she got her first frightening image that was frightening to her. She actually saw a cobra, and she saw the cobra's back side that was widened to show the cobra profile, and the cobra was in front of her, and the cobra struck quickly, and the message was the infusion will happen very quickly. And then right after that, then they gave us reassurance and said, well, don't let that bother you. That was just to show you that this is going to happen very quickly, and it is something that you will be infused with. It's going to make a difference for you. And they keep telling us that it's going to be imminent. It is going to happen any time. Now, for them, imminent could mean that it's going to be within the next year.
That's
but
right.
We
have
a feeling. There is no time. They're not worried about time.
Right.
But that could mean that it's going to happen within a few weeks or within a few days. But whatever it is, we love them. We feel great love for them, great gratitude for them, and we love each other. We are just, there is such love among us that it doesn't matter whether we have to meet for another year. We're just going to enjoy every minute of it.
But could I just say, I think you all are very brave. I cannot imagine hearing I'm going to be changed at a molecular level, and hearing some of what you hear and not thinking, oh dear, is this what I really want to be doing?
I kind of like this body. What's going on here?
Right.
Yeah. Well, and especially, for the physical medium, for our physical medium, and actually he's a physical medium. It looks like the three women are going to be changed molecularly, so that they are in a transition, so that they are also mediums. I mean, they may be physical mediums or partly physical, but we know that they are going to go into trance. They've already started going into trance. And going into trance means that it could just mean that their energy is going to be used. It could also mean that, they get the feeling like there are people trying to talk through them.
Craig, we're going
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
How would you like to be able to read other people's minds? Well, the next best thing is here. When you know how to read a person's name, you know how the person thinks, feels, and behaves. Each letter in our name holds a key to unlock our true essence. Our name contains both our gifts and challenges in this lifetime. Mnemology science discovers personality secrets hidden in the placement of the letters of our names, including the first and last impression people remember about us. Sharon shows us how to interpret the arrangement of letters as outlined in her book, Know the Name, Know the Person. Sharon Lynn Wyeth created mnemology science after 18 years of research and testing her theories, and has supported thousands of people around the world in understanding themselves and others better. You'll enjoy Sharon's unique teachings as she shares her system to learn the gifts behind your given birth name. Even if you don't like your birth name, there are jewels in this book. If you're thinking of changing your name, ready to name your child, or wanting to get along better with others, this is the book for you. If you'd like to improve your relationships and change your life for the better, get the book today, Know the Name, Know the Person, or visit www.knowthename.com. That's www.knowthename.com.
Hello, I'm Justina Marsh, and with my dad Pete, we are going to present a new show called Too Good to Be True. Together, we are aiming to discover more truths about this world and beyond. Do you have unanswered questions about the world? Do you ever wonder about aliens, conspiracy theories, or the universe? There are many shows discussing subjects such as pyramids or UFOs, but we want to relay this information based on our own research, including from spiritual means. Hopefully, listeners will be helped with their own beliefs and will appreciate the psychic insights that add to the previous research and information. We both look forward to sharing this insight and beginning this journey with our listeners. Visit xzbn.net for more information about when to listen.
Ancient prophecies, legends, and current events indicate we're entering a high-frequency era supporting enlightenment. During expansive times, old rules fail, necessitating access to the ever-shifting currents of life for guidance. There's an ancient form of shamanism through which we can obtain the information we need. I'm Gwilda Wiyaka, founder and director of Path Home Shamanic Art School, with a great new provision for those interested in spiritual evolution and personal empowerment. Galactic Shamanism, Art of the Ancients, Key to Tomorrow, is an upcoming series of leading-edge online affordable classes designed to guide and support you and your family during these times of transition. Embrace the magic. Empower your life. Study Galactic Shamanism at findyourpathhome.com.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome back to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes and the wonderful, wonderful Dr. R. Craig Hogan, who really gets into this stuff quite literally, to have spent 9, almost 10 years sitting every Sunday night in circle, and the fact that the others also do the same thing. All 5 of them sit and they're developing these amazing phenomena with the help of people. Really, the people who are guiding this, who are making it happen, are people not in bodies anymore. That it's just extraordinary. And stay tuned. We will continue to have Craig coming back to us to talk about that. But the next thing we're going to ask him to talk about is what is really cutting edge future communication. And I guess we think probably the way people are really going to end up being involved themselves in this kind of new age stuff. So tell us, Craig, talk about electronic communication.
The electronic communication is very new, of course, because we didn't know very much about electronics only a few decades ago. But now that electronics are available, then they on the other side are taking advantage of it. Now, when I say they're taking advantage of it, it's not like they're omniscient and they can simply wave a wand and things will happen. They have to work at this the same way that we have to work on our side. So there are technicians who are working on the other side, scientists such as Tesla and Edison and Einstein is in the group, and Steve Jobs in the technology. And they're all, when they passed, they joined the groups on the other side. And groups include a great variety of other people, including other interdimensional people. And what they're doing now is taking advantage of the electronics, and they're trying to find ways of manipulating it from their side so that they can communicate to us through recordings, so that we can actually hear the voices of the people on the other side speaking. And isn't their literal voices? So we're not going to be hearing them because their voice boxes are molding away in a grave someplace. What's happened is that they are sending electronic signals that then imprint upon, for instance, a hard drive. And when you play them back, they play back as the voices. And they're able to do that by projecting their thoughts into what they call a machine on the other side. And so there are a number of people who are working with this now. The most successful people are Hans Otto Koenig, who has a device that he is using to connect with people on the 5th through the 7th levels. And when I say that, that means very high-level individuals. And they are communicating with him, and he has the recordings, and we have the recordings online so that you can listen to the recordings. Now, unfortunately, they're in German, so if you don't speak German, they will just sound like gibberish. But they are saying wonderful things about us, about consciousness, about the fact that there is going to be a change in humankind, that we are going to see a revolution in consciousness, and that is imminent, that will be happening. It's the same message we're getting from the physical people. They're telling us the same thing. So there will be huge changes in humankind. Hans Otto Koenig develops devices. He develops what amounts to radios that will get these voices coming from the other side. And then, of course, we can correspond with them and say words to them, and they get what we're saying without having the device, without having a microphone, because they're one with us. We are all one. And so they get our thoughts. And the other people who are having a great amount of success, Sonia Rinaldi in Brazil, and Sonia is a brilliant researcher. She is using a protocol that was being used before, but she has perfected it, in which she can get the recordings of people on the other side speaking, and it then comes onto a hard drive, it's an electromagnetic signal onto a hard drive, and she plays it back, and it's the voices of the people on the other side, and they give messages. It'll be children giving messages to their parents, or spouses giving messages to each other, and they're wonderful. She does as many as 163 readings for parents connecting with their children in a month, and as many as 200 messages in each one of the readings. And so she's very successful at it. So we can connect. She connects very easily. But the really interesting thing is that she used the same technology. She knew that it was consciousness that she's connecting with. She's connecting with this one consciousness that we are all part of. And so she knew she could do that, and so she decided she would try to connect with the consciousness of nonverbal people, people who are unable to communicate, who are still on the earth plane. And so she communicated with the higher self, with the eternal self of a nonverbal autistic child. So the child was asleep, and she went through this protocol that she uses to connect with those in the afterlife. And she actually connected with this child, and she actually has the recordings of the nonverbal child who didn't speak, has no ability to speak, but she has the recordings of the child speaking using this protocol.
Wow.
And so she went even further. So there was a woman who was pregnant in Brazil, and she contracted the Zika virus. And of course, with the Zika virus, that meant her child could be born with encephalitis. And she wanted to find out whether the child was going to be normal. And so Sonia undertook to communicate with the unborn fetus. Now, when I say that she's really connecting with is the consciousness, the spirit, the eternal spirit. And that is a mature spirit, of course. It is the individual who would be able to communicate. And so she was able to communicate with the unborn child to find out that the unborn child was anxious to be born and was going to be fine. And she also Sonia connected with her husband, who said the same thing about the unborn child. And all of that is recorded, and we've got the recordings online. Anybody can listen to them.
This is so boggling. Now, people are confused about this. What seems to happen, and tell me how I might be wrong about this. What seems to happen is that people are able to create a voice and project it onto this sort of machine that's there, but they can remember how their voice sounded. And they recreate the sound, but as you say, they don't have a voice box, so they're not actually talking. And it's boggling. It's the sort of thing that Leslie Flint, who was a physical medium who specialized in direct voice, his ectoplasm would create a voice box, and when people who were then not in bodies spoke using that voice box, they had modified it so that their voices sounded the way they had sounded when they were alive, which is how you could I wouldn't even know what I sounded like. It's so amazing that they can do that.
Yeah, it's the creative source that loves us all and is bringing this world into being second by second. So that the creative, it is being created second by second. And the creative force, what we would call the divine, is able to do this for us because of the fact that we are consciousness and we are one with the divine. We are one with each other. What Leslie Flint did when he had the people speaking through the voice box, they described it from the other side as they were projecting their thoughts into the box, they said. I was projecting my thoughts into the box. And it takes them a while to be able to get used to doing that. And so they would stumble at first, and you could hear them stumbling. But then when the voices came through clearly through Leslie Flint was a medium. He was a direct voice medium in the 20th century. We right now have thousands of recordings of people who came through and spoke in the room through this ectoplasmic voice box. And they were all kinds of different people from different walks of life, different accents, different languages that Leslie, of course, wouldn't know. So that when the voice came through and they finally did come through clearly and they got used to using this thought box that they thought into that came out in voice in the room, in the physical realm, then those recordings were given to people who knew the person when they were on the earth plane, and they would all testify and say, yes, that is her.
That's who it is, yes.
That's who it is, I recognize that voice. I recognize the words, the intonation. It is that person, yeah. And Leslie actually had, he had people would come into his room where he was doing the recordings. And there were some people who would come in every week, and they would have, almost like over the breakfast table, conversations with their spouse who's on the other side. And we had the recordings of them. They just talked about what they were doing, and that the spouse on the other side had been visiting them and coming to see them and was knowing what they were doing. And they're just wonderful, heartwarming recordings, and we have them available. People can listen to them.
This is hard for people who have never heard of this to grasp, but indeed it is real. It is the fact that more people don't know about it is really tragic because it's exciting and it's fun. Now, we used to talk about stations. Sonia was connecting with a Brazilian station, and they were working a North American station. Is there any more progress on that field, in that area?
Yes. There have been some really interesting developments in that field. What happened was Sonia was originally connecting with a station, and she was connecting with the Brazilian station because she was in Brazil. And by station, they mean that there really is technology, because remember that they are starting from scratch on the other side, the same way we are here. They have to develop the technology and develop the equipment and then try to use that to connect with us. And so there was a Brazilian station she was connecting with, and it had sound equipment that they had developed there, and they called them tables, which we know to be sound tables with sound equipment on them. And they then would transmit.
Now, Craig, we've got 3 more minutes in this segment. Can you tell us quickly what's happening with the North American station? Because that one's in English. It's not in Portuguese.
The North American station was established 3 years ago when we started. We wanted to have a station that spoke English. The Portuguese or the Brazilian station speaks only Portuguese. So they did start the North American station on the other side, teams on the other side. And so that we have been able to communicate in English. It originally started out very weak. It's getting stronger. And we have Sherry Pearl right now who is doing readings for parents using the North American station. But the really interesting thing that's happened is just within the last couple of weeks is that the Brazilian station and North American station have merged. So in other words, we have all the power of the Brazilian and the North American station to be able to and so Sonia is getting her transmissions now in English as well as in Portuguese. And it's really exciting.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That just happened. Cutting edge news.
Just happened. Mm-hmm. Right.
And so that means we'll be getting fairly strong English communications going forward then, right?
She already is. She's getting the English communication in the Brazilian station, and we should be getting it here. So we will be getting just stronger and stronger. So we're right at the beginning of it. It is becoming much better. We will be able to get these transmissions, and we know that it's going to be within the next few months. So we've been saying that for a while, but within the next few months, we expect real developments.
Now, if somebody is listening and says, "I want a piece of that action," how would they? How do they do that? Because you're encouraging people, right, to connect with.
Yes, we're training people. Yeah, we'll train anybody in how to do these recordings, and all they have to do is go to the afterlifeinstitute.org. That's the AREI website, afterlifeinstitute.org, and there's a link on there to the information on how to set up a recorder and be able to do this recording. And then we will actually listen to the first recordings and help them to make the recordings. So we're encouraging people. We'd love to have you do it.
And Sherry Pearl is a mother who lost her son, who's now helping her actually to do this work. But she was just someone who wanted to try this. And she's become so good at it. And the communications she's getting are so good now that she's helping a great many bereaved parents. Mm-hmm. So if this is an area that resonates with you, then for certain, do this, afterlifeinstitute.org. Give it a try, because this is the area where there's going to be so much action over the next few years. And if you want to get on the ground floor, now's the time to do it. When we come back, we're going to talk about the AREI. We're going to talk about the symposium, so stick with us.
The Earth is under ever-increasing pressure from untenable lifestyles and growing populations. Yet, viable answers seem in short supply. What if I told you there's an ancient form that can empower you to take charge of your life? What if your entire family could be enfolded and supported by life itself, finding safe passage through challenging times? I'm Gwilda Wiyaka, founder and director of Path Home Shamanic Art School, with great news: an upcoming series of leading-edge online affordable classes based in an ancient form of shamanism, easily learned and used by your entire family. Galactic Shamanism, Art of the Ancients, Key to Tomorrow are a series of online adult and children's lessons instructing your entire family on natural law, how to cooperate with and be supported by the powers of the universe. Visit findyourpathhome.com to find these unique and powerful classes.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
Are you curious? Do you want to learn more about how the world works and have fun at the same time? Study coincidences with me, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, on my Connecting with Coincidence radio show here on the XZBN network. Listen to Jungians theorize, statisticians randomize, true believers evangelize, while I categorize. I dance to the rhythm of coincidences. People who experience me see more of them. Maybe something on the show matches a thought in your mind. Let us know. Expand your mind to the weirdness happening around you. Synchronicity spoken here, there, and everywhere. For more information, put Connecting with Coincidence in your search engine and find my website, my social media sites, and my blog.
Is it science or is it magic? Once a magical thing has been scientifically proven, is it no longer magic? Or is magic simply the science of tomorrow? Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, on The Science of Magic, a syndicated radio program dedicated to combining the science and magic of today's dynamic and controversial topics to co-create new solutions. By triangulating information from today's leading experts from the scientific and magical fields, we uncover expansive and evolutionary truths you won't find anywhere else. Join us daily on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net, as I interview the shared thoughts with the amazing guests from both science and magic. The resulting knowledge is unprecedented. As a gift to you, the listener, past episodes can be accessed on our website free of charge at thescienceofmagic.net.
Welcome back to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes and Dr. R. Craig Hogan. Now, Craig is president of the Afterlife Research and Education Institute. I'm on the board. I'm thrilled to be part of this wonderful, wonderful organization. But Craig is really our leading light. So we're doing a symposium in September 15 to 17 of This is 2017 we're talking about. But if you're listening to us years from now, just look up AREI and you'll find we're probably still doing something maybe even more exciting. But talk about the symposium, Craig, and what's up in September.
Sure. What we've done is we are having a symposium instead of a conference because a symposium brings together the leading experts in a field. And so what we're doing is we're bringing together the leading experts in afterlife communication, in end-of-life activities, meaning the way that people have transitions from this life into the next, what happens to them, and the new spirituality, the new approach to spiritualism based upon our understanding. And so we're bringing together the 33 of the experts, and they're going to be speaking about where we are now in each one of those areas. And we have people who will be talking about mental mediumship. We'll talk about physical mediumship. We have people who are representative of the circles, those circles that I talked about, who are going to be speaking. We'll have our physical medium, Rob, who will be there, and I will be talking about physical mediumship. And then we'll also have instrumental transcommunication folks. So we're going to have Sonia Rinaldi, who's going to be coming up from Brazil.
Wow.
And she's going to be there to speak about her method, about the voices that she's getting, about what's going to develop, and that's because that's 4 weeks away, and things have happened so quickly. There'll be even more things, I'm sure, by that time.
Yes, yes.
And then she will explain what it is that she does and how she does it. And Sherry Pearl, who is doing the readings for parents now using Sonia's method, and she gets them in English, she's going to be speaking about what it is that she is doing, how she's linking the parents, and then she's also going to be giving a free workshop. It's a free workshop in 2 parts. Anybody can bring their laptop, and as they bring their laptop, then she is going to show everyone how to capture the voices and actually do it and communicate with loved ones on the other side and capture their voices on their PC. That's all they need is a PC to be able to do that. So that's very exciting, and she's going to be there.
Sherry is really a very large-spirited, loving person, I have to say, and that's the kind of thing she would do. She wants everyone to be able to have these experiences.
She's a healer, and she
much.
does individual healing, but she's also helping to heal humankind. And that's her role in the Earth plane right now, and that's why she's here.
Yes.
And she's doing a marvelous job of it. And so there's also Rochelle Wright, the psychotherapist who developed the method that people are having afterlife communications while sitting in a psychotherapist's office. She will be there to explain what it is that she does. She actually is going to be training psychotherapists, so she'll have a training program that will go on Sunday and Monday right after the symposium, and she'll be training psychotherapists who are interested. There are over 125 psychotherapists now who are using the method, and so she'll explain. She has a 98% success rate. So the people come into her office, and they'll come in sobbing and full of grief, and they'll walk out joyful and happy and shaking her hand and giving her hugs.
Yes.
And they come into her office, or the psychotherapist's office, and they say that their grief on a 10-point scale is a 10 plus plus plus. Or one woman said her grief was a 200, and they're just full of grief. And they'll walk out and they'll say, "Well, where's your grief now?" And they'll say, "Well, it's," and they'll say a 1 or 2 or a 3.
Yes.
And it has made a tremendous difference. And this has all happened in one session. And grief therapy is notoriously ineffective.
Yes.
Grief therapy just doesn't work. And
I just have to add, I have talked to some of these people. I would not have believed it, except I've talked to some of these people who've been through Rochelle Wright's program, and it does take one session, and it does absolutely reduce their grief to nothing. It's incredible. It's wonderful.
It's just amazing. And when they're in these, it's very much like the self-guided afterlife connection, because it's happening. They're having their own. They just close their eyes and they have their own connection. And so then the self-guided, the same thing happens. And in both the self-guided and in Rochelle's method, they'll go on walks on the beach together. They will hold hands. They'll talk. They'll hug. They'll kiss each other. And I've had more than one person also say that they've actually had sexual experiences.
This is new. Don't you think it's new?
This is just mind-boggling. It's just mind-boggling that they've actually
sex with their dead partners.
Right. And it's just a mind-boggling. In fact, I just got one from a woman a couple of days ago, and she's probably the 3rd or 4th person who said that. But these experiences, because you understand that all of these experiences, when we talk about the physical realm, what we're talking about is experience. It is consciousness and experience. That's all there is. Yes. And so when a person goes into this other realm, when they just close their eyes and go into the other realm, then the experiences that they have can be as real or feel as real as a physical experience, because they're the same thing.
Totally. It's totally real. Exactly right. It's wonderful. So what
and
else
then we're
is
also
happening?
having, Mark Bitstick is going to be there. He's going to be doing some hypnosis, because we have quite a contingent of hypnotists who are part of this. And through hypnosis, what you do is relax away from the physical realm. Once we relax away from the physical realm, we're immediately in this greater reality, in this other realm where our loved ones are living right now, next to us. And so they're there, and our guides and helpers and other people. And so we're using hypnosis now. Mark is going to talk about using hypnosis where people can learn themselves about their soul's plan, the plan they had and why they're having the things happen in their lives right now, and about how they can then have their own contacts with people on the other side. And the method, the self-guided afterlife communication method that we have online, teaches a form of a gentle a modified form of self-hypnosis. And so then people learn how to connect. Once they learn how to connect using the self-guided afterlife communication method, they can do it anywhere. They can be sitting in an office and decide they want to just relax and sit back and just have a connection because they've learned how to do it. And it happens any place, anytime.
So all of this is going to be happening in Scottsdale. And it's September, what is it, 15th to 17th?
It's 15th to the 17th.
Yes. And one of the great things about the AREI Symposium is that unlike many other places, the people who are the presenters spend a lot of time just talking with and networking with the attendees. So this is not a case where you have to sort of go and sit and then, I got to glimpse this person. We really talk with people. That's, to me, the best part of it. Because what we're trying to do is help everyone feel that you're part of this one great, glorious group of people who are all on our same voyage of trying to understand what actually is going on, coming to understand it, and sharing it with the world. So anyone who's interested in being there, we're excited to have you join us. And we're almost full, right? But there are a few places still.
Yeah, we are getting full, but there are some seats that are left, and we're anxious. We would like to go to capacity, and we expect to do that. So, but we invite anybody to come. And as you say, that this is just the beginning. So once somebody comes to the symposium, then they will have opportunities to do many more things after that. It isn't just a one-time thing; it's the beginning. And so we encourage people to become involved.
Yes, we're going to have things to do all year round in your own town or city, and not just in Scottsdale. So how do people? What's the website, Craig?
So it's afterlifestudies.org. Afterlifestudies.org.
And how would they reach you? How would people reach you?
I would invite people to contact me. I'd love to have people contact me. And so all you have to do is you can get on afterlifestudies.org, and you'll get to the email address there. Or you can email me directly at r.craig.hogan at afterlifeinstitute.org, and I'll be very happy to communicate with anybody.
Well, we're going to have to say goodbye for now, but we'll have Craig back again soon. Thank you so much for being here, dear. I love to have you as a guest.
I love being here.
So everyone, as you know, this has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes, and I'm so glad you could join us today. Please never forget that you are a powerful, eternal being. You never began, you never will end. And when you fully grasp all the implications of that glorious fact, it's going to change everything in your life for the better. Next week, for the second time, we're going to have David Burfoot here. His book is Finding the Elephant, and it is wonderful. He's the only researcher I've ever found who has taken the same approach I've taken, which is to assemble research results from seemingly unrelated fields to gain a deeper understanding of what actually is going on. You're going to love this book. And I love talking with him because, frankly, we talk the same language. Please join us next week. David Burfoot is going to come to us all the way from Australia, and you're just going to love him. This week we've been talking with Dr. R. Craig Hogan, and what can I say? Craig is, to me, the leader in this field today. So many of us consider him to be our guiding light in this, and he is so brave and so determined to bring to this world whatever he can in the way of evidence of what actually happens, that he even sits in circles for a decade. I think that's just incredible. Please join us in Scottsdale if you possibly can in September and meet Craig in person. Just go to afterlifestudies.org to learn more about all of that. As you know, I've written many books. Just go to robertagrimes.com and you can see what I've written. And if you have any interest at all in contacting me, don't hesitate to do that. I answer all my emails, and make sure you give me your email so I can get the answer back to you. You can find past episodes of Seek Reality on webtalkradio.net or iTunes, or just go and get our app in the iTunes store. Meanwhile, this has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Please enjoy, please make the most of this coming week in our one shared reality, knowing that you are a powerful, eternal being and you are infinitely loved.